Hello everybody, I'm Sean. Made a couple of videos about my struggle with autism, late in life diagnosed. I'm 52 and I was diagnosed just recently this year actually with autism, which I've obviously had in my entire life. I've made 3 videos and I feel like they've been kind of on the negative side, so I really wanted to make one that focuses more on the positive aspects of autism and some of the traits that we can have. And one thing you'll hear is, if you've met one autistic person, you have met one autistic person. So that means that these traits don't necessarily apply to every autistic person. But I've picked some that I feel really apply to me. The first one I want to talk about is expertise, meaning expertise in my job, and definitely something that describes me because I push myself to be the best that I can be. Sometimes I push myself to be the best and an expert in what I do and what I know, so that when somebody asks me a question, I have the answer. And if I don't have the answer, I'll find it. And if I can't find it, I'm going to find someone who knows. But I do all I can to learn every aspect of my job so that there are no questions. I know I'm doing my job properly. I feel like that I'm a source of information for people when they have questions. And I like that people know that they can come to me and know that I will, if I don't have the answer, I will try to find it. Usually I do know the answer because I dive so deep into what I'm doing, into my job, that I want to know and learn everything about it, every single aspect. I will even learn ancillary things about the job, things that affect the job, because being a flight attendant, there are many things that go on the sides or in the background that we don't deal with. However, knowing how those things function helps me to be able to do my job better, and to help passengers, help fellow crewmates, things of that nature. So yeah, expertise is definitely one that really describes me, I think. Some of these things I might say, and people that know me may say, that's not really you. Well, actually it is. You're just not seeing that part of me, or you may be seeing me maybe having a bad day, or maybe not focusing so much on something that you don't see we don't see what I'm doing, or you see it from a different perspective. So yeah, expertise. Along with that is attention to detail. I'm a very, very detail-oriented person. If you don't give me all of the information about something, I'm going to hound you until I get it. I need to know all of the details of everything, because I've talked about this before, I don't want to make mistakes. And if I don't have all the details, I'm going to make mistakes, or I can make mistakes. So I am very, very detail oriented. When I have to submit my paperwork for part of the job that I do, I go over it with a fine-tooth comb, make sure that I didn't make any mistakes, because I don't want to get an email back saying, hey, you did this wrong, you did this wrong, you did this wrong. So I'm very, very much dotting my I's, crossing my T's, all those things before I submit something, so that it doesn't come back to me and all these errors are circled or pointed out to me. And I'm that way in many things in life, very detail oriented, and I'm a high information person. You can probably never give me too much information about things, because it helps me to understand what's going on, and also helps me to be able to make decisions and choices based on the information that you've given me. If you tell me, if you give me driving directions to go somewhere and you say, go straight for a mile and then turn left and then you'll see it on the right, that's not enough for me. I need to know, okay, landmarks, give me landmarks. Tell me how long it takes to get somewhere, whatever. Give me all the details, and that way I can complete the task successfully and not look like a moron trying to do it. So attention to detail is definitely something that really is important to me, because again, I don't want to make mistakes. I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to think people to think that I'm a moron. When I have a day where I'm making constant mistakes or I'm missing very minor things, which is causing something to happen, it makes me think that people think that I'm stupid because I'm making stupid mistakes. I know that's not the case. I know I'm not stupid, but that's how I feel. So having all the details is very important to me, so that I don't end up feeling that way. I don't end up feeling stupid. This one is one that anyone who knows me will definitely know this is me for sure. It is a strong sense of justice. And one thing that boils my biscuits, makes me so angry that I almost can't function, is when somebody is being treated and differently than other people. I do not like that. I cannot deal with different standards being set for different people. If the standard is here and the person's here and you say, oh, that's okay, it's not okay. They should be up here as well. It's not fair to the people that are up here that are then having to pick up the slack for the person that's down here. So that person needs to be made to come up to this level so that it's the same for everybody. I worked at a job before and in this pizza factory, and I was held to a different level. And one of my managers, we were talking about that, and I said, well, I don't understand why you put all these things on me, because it's not fair. We have other people that can do these jobs. And he said, because I know that you can do it and you'll get it done. And I said, that's not fair, because they are in the same position as I'm in. You should expect the same results from them. And he tried to brush it off as they're not as good as you. Okay, well then make them as good as me. It's not fair to expect more from me when I'm getting paid the same as these other people. So we had a I wouldn't call it an argument. We had a disagreement on that, and I kind of lost a little bit of respect for him when he said that to me, because it made me feel like I was being taken advantage of. And that's another thing with the sense of justice. If someone's being taken advantage of, it makes me incredibly angry, and I want to fix it. I want to make it right, and I will do anything I can in my power to make it right. If I have to go to someone of authority and talk to them about it, if I have to, whatever I can do to rectify the situation, because I don't want to see somebody suffer because they're being held to a different standard than other people. It's not fair. And when you see somebody who constantly gets away with things that they should be punished for, it's extremely frustrating for me. Like, how is this person constantly winning when they're doing the wrong thing? And it's grotesquely unfair, and it shouldn't happen. It's our world, though. It's the way things are, and I have to accept that. But that doesn't mean that I have to accept it and not say anything about it, or try to do something in my circle that I can influence about that problem. So yeah, strong sense of justice is definitely something that really drives me, and it doesn't happen too much in the job that I'm in, because we're in a union, and it's really difficult. Nobody's really put above other people, because they can't do it. It's simple. It's nice because there's a rule system in place that prevents favoritism from occurring, because then somebody can say, no, I'm going to talk to the union and we're going to get this resolved, and that person usually will win, because the union is going to say you can't do that. So that helps a lot. Working for a union has been actually a very helpful thing for me. I used to be staunchly opposed to them for some stupid reason. I'm not now. I'm very much in favor of them, because you have that protection. You have somebody supporting you and trying to help you be successful. So that's nice. There are rules in place that can be enforced, and it's very, for somebody like me who relies on rules and rules and regulations and a strict schedule trying to think of the words. Sorry, my brain. Everything is very very regulated. So my job, I do it the same way every time. There's no fluctuation. It has to be done this way. There's no deviation, and it's structured. That's the word I'm thinking of. It's a very structured environment. which is good for me. And this leads back to my expertise and attention to detail. With it being structured, it's much easier to gain that expertise because the structure's there. You don't have to try to find things that to kind of weave them in to make things work. You just follow the structure, and you're always going to be correct, or you're always going to be right. You're always going to be doing your job correctly. And then it also helps with the attention to detail, because you're given the large majority of the information that you need to be successful and to complete your job. So expertise, attention to detail, strong sense of justice. This last one I want to talk about is a little more, it's a little bit different to talk about, I guess, and it's accepting people for their differences. And one of the biggest lessons I've learned in life, and one of the hardest lessons I've learned in life, is whatever someone else is doing, it's not affecting you. So you really don't have any reason to say things about it. Now, if they're doing something that's affecting other people, obviously yes. Smoking drives me crazy. I can't stand it. It makes me sick to my stomach. I want to dump water on the people that do it because they're affecting other people around them. So that's something that I cannot accept, is smoking. But there's many different types of relationships out there, and people are whatever makes them happy, it makes them happy, and that's fine, and you have to accept that. People have different cultures. Sometimes that's the hardest thing to accept, is that there are different cultures. They do things different ways, and we may not necessarily understand why they do them that way, but that doesn't make it wrong. Now, again, if it's an abusive thing, obviously we're not going to accept that. One of the things that I encounter is there's a certain group of people that used to have a caste system in their society that no longer exists. However, some of the people from that society have not let that go, and we see that. And it becomes frustrating to watch it when it happens. It's even more frustrating when you're kind of thrust into it in certain ways. But again, accept people where they are as they are. And I have my own quirks. I have my own proclivities. I have my ways of doing things that other people don't understand or don't like or whatever. But you know what? It works for me. And what I'm doing in my job or whatever is not affecting you. So there really is no reason for someone to come to me and say that's wrong. Okay, it may be wrong for you. It's not wrong for me. I watch people do things all the time in weird ways. And if they're getting their job done, whatever. Now, if I see that they're struggling, I'm going to help them and offer them suggestions. Hey, maybe try to do it this way, whatever. But we accept people as they are. We can't change people. You cannot change another person. Nothing you say or do is ever going to make a person behave or think a different way. You have to accept them as they are. And if you can't accept them as they are, then you shouldn't be around that person. If you can't accept anybody as they are, then you should just be a hermit and live in a cave. Anyway, those are the positive things from autism that I think describe me. Expertise, attention to detail, strong sense of justice, and accepting people for their differences. And so let's get a little bit more of an insight into my brain, how I think, how I act, why I act the way I do, why I react the way I react. And I think it's helpful to talk about these things so that people can understand, why is Sean so weird? I'm not really weird. It's just, this is what I need to function. That doesn't make me weird. It's just a little different, right? Accepting people as they are. So you guys have a good life. Live your best life. I tell people all the time, live your best life. If you're happy, be happy. Don't worry about what other people think of you. And because they're not living your life and they don't know what you've been through. So anyway, with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks for listening. And y'all have a good life.